Happy birthday to Dylan Knows. Happy birthday to Dylan Knows. Happy birthday, Dylan Knows. Happy birthday to you. I didn't shave for the occasion. This is Dylan Lang, and welcome to my 11th anniversary episode. Technically, in about let's go. Today is September 14th, 2024. It's a Saturday at 11:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm doing this live right now. By the time you guys see it, it'll probably be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever. However, on Sunday, September 15th, 2013, a little show called Dylan Knows had its first episode. And here we are, 11 years later. Basically, technically, it was at 1 o'clock p.m. on September 15th, 2013. Talked about supernatural stuff. And back when I had hosts, and I forget who was my host with me. I forget her name right now. I haven't talked to her in years. So this is Dylan Knows, 11th anniversary episode 571, 11 years of Dylan Knows. Yep, I've made 11 years right now. It's crazy. And to celebrate also, my cat Pepper, who's around here somewhere, you might hear him, see him today, turned 10 months old on Friday. Had his 10-month birthday party on Friday. Oh, Jesus. Oh, for God's sakes. I already drank one of these. But I got another one. I did have the Mountain Dew Voodoo. I didn't get another one for today's show because I wanted to try it myself on Thursday. So I did. To me, it tastes a lot like the strawberry hard candies that have the little squishy middle in it. So it's pretty good. I'll probably get a 12-pack for it when I could probably go get my groceries tomorrow for hopefully tacos. It's been an interesting 11 years. The show originally was going to be 3 episodes of me with people. We were talking supernatural comics and this show. And then the 4th week was going to be my wife was going to do a show once a month. She only lasted 3 episodes, and she realized she really didn't want to do it. So that's fine. So then I took it over, and I started Dylan Knows International when I brought my friend Brahman from Canada in. And then gradually, as things happened down the line, probably about halfway through this 11 years, maybe a little bit longer than that, I started doing more solo shows, and the list show started disappearing, and the other my partners all either couldn't do it or didn't want to do it or whatever. And then years ago, YouTube changed from a format where I could have somebody on it, like a meeting sort of thing, and now I have to do it this way. So I've been doing it this way for a while now, but it's been 11 years. I literally have. I have 2 YouTube playlists of all my appearances, not only here, but on Snarkalic Radio and a myriad of other stuff as well. So check those out if you want to. But 11 years. I didn't shave this week because I have a tradition where I shave during the Ravens games, before Ravens games. Tomorrow, Sunday, is a Ravens game. I normally would shave during the week also. I would normally shave on a Thursday. But the problem was my wife went into work early almost every day this week. So I end up having to get up at 5:30, and I didn't have time after going to the bathroom and after showering to shave, because by then it was close to 6 o'clock and I leave at 6:30, and I want to still have a little bit of time to look at stuff and so on and so forth. So that's why I look a little ragged here, but that'll all be gone tomorrow. My wife is camping again. And they were doing a boating event today. My son actually went down just for the day and then came back. My daughter was not camping because she didn't want to go do it, because she doesn't have to, really, to be honest. And she slept for close to 14 hours. And then when I checked on her at 2 o'clock, she seemed to be okay. But I checked on her again around 7 because I hadn't seen her. And because I was out for 3 hours doing Pokemon Go. It was Community Day of Punita. And she said she was in a lot of pain and had a headache. So I got her some aspirin, got her heating pad, got her water, told her let me know whenever she needed anything. And she talked to her boyfriend, and then she felt a little better, came downstairs, got something to eat, and then just chilled out with us for a while, and then went to bed early. We're planning to do an Eagle Court of Honor tomorrow, way up in Cecil County, which is an hour and a half away. But I wanted to warn her, like, if you're not feeling 100%, hour and a half up, an hour and a half back, and 2 hours up there is a long day. And if you're not feeling 100%, it probably wouldn't be worth it to go up there. It's bad because you want to support your friend, but at the same time, you got to take care of yourself. So we'll see about that. And secretly, I kind of hope she decides not to go because I really didn't feel like driving all the way up to Cecil County and back and miss the Ravens game and do all that stuff. And yes, that's a little bit more, selfish on my part, but if my daughter was not feeling sick this weekend, I would have sucked it up and did it because that's who I am. But if there's an inkling, the possibility that, she's not feeling terrible, I don't want her to feel terrible, but it just would be easier probably for her because she felt so bad today to just sort of recover tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. But yes, 11 years of the show. I'm not really planning on stopping anytime soon. I did have a period there in 2020 where I was contemplating stopping the show, but that was a lot of stuff going on. COVID, the election, I was furloughed, panicking about what I'm going to do after unemployment ended once they cleared everything for COVID. And I hadn't gotten a call back from my old job yet. They said they would call me very soon afterwards, but it took them 6 months to. But I digress. So for a while there in 2020, I didn't do any shows during the summer, basically, and I got back up once I started working again, and things were starting to clear up a little bit. And I lost my cousin, and I wanted to, eulogize him. That's when I started doing this up again, and I haven't really stopped. I've pretty much done it weekly as much as I could from 2020 till now. There might be periods where I might have taken a break here and there, but I usually sometimes come back and do a double episode or whatever. So I still plan on doing this every week for the foreseeable future. As long as I like doing it, I really honestly don't care if I get 1 view or 100 views. I prefer 100 views, obviously. But yeah. It was so as I said, it was a weird week. So my wife will be back early tomorrow. My cat Pepper turned 10 months old on Friday the 13th. Yes, there was a Friday the 13th, September 13th. Friday the 13th, this past Friday, didn't feel like a Friday the 13th all that much at all. I think a few people even said this. I didn't even feel like a Friday the 13th. So I don't know what it is. Maybe just the whole election thing going on. Speaking of the election thing, we had the debate between the convicted felon and Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris dog walked him all over, but there's a whole new thing going on now with a town in Ohio about immigrants eating pets, which has started to turn into bad news again. And I just want all this to just stop and end. I don't want to see the convicted felon or any of his shitty people ever again. And the fact that more people are still supporting him after everything that was said at the debate and has been said since then. And that's what I'm going to get into about debate stuff. But Kamala won it because she did her job and covered everything and did it so well and smacked him around so much that he's refusing to do another one with her. So that's good. A lot of, and then there was a anniversary of September 11th, 9/11 was on Tuesday, wasn't it? Monday. No, it was 13th is Friday. It was Wednesday. And, it was 23 years ago that happened. So someone made a good point today. It's like, it's starting to be a lot like this next generation wasn't around 23 years ago or were very young and don't remember what had happened. So the people who lived through it, i.e. me and everyone else like that, who was around in 2001, are starting to react to it like Pearl Harbor, whereas people growing up in the 50s, like our parents, for the most part, like our parents and stuff like that, who weren't around in 1941 when it happened and have heard the stories from their parents, stuff like that, about what happened. And it was an attack on the United States and all that stuff, and then just the stuff that happens with that, it's beginning to feel a lot like that, because it just seemed like, okay, that was history, that was 20 some years ago, and now here we are 23 years later, away from this event, and we have people who were born. Actually, I have someone I used to work with was born on 9/11, 2001. They're 23 years old now, and by the time they were old enough to kind of know stuff, which was 5 or 6 years, we were 5 and 6 years out from it. So it's feeling again like, it's another sign of getting old. I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that I'm just not feeling. It could also be the whole election thing going on, and just not feeling sort of blasé and not energized. But it was a major event in our lifetime. But someone did point this out, that a generation now does not even know about. They've heard about it from history, and people keep bringing it up every year, but they never lived through it. 23-year-olds. That's 23 years old people have never lived through 9/11, or they lived through it, but they were babies, or they were born after it happened. But as I said, they don't have the feelings that the people who lived through it do, much like as their position was our parents with Pearl Harbor. So there was that. What was I going to hit before? Oh, yeah, and then just to keep the craziness going on, last Sunday, before about a couple hours before the Miami Dolphins game, Tyreek Hill and Calais Campbell were pulled over by police officers and were forcibly removed from Tyreek Hill's car, handcuffed and put on the ground until they realized who they had and released them. And so there's been a whole big shitstorm going on down there. It was for supposedly reckless driving, so I don't know the exact story behind it. And then Tyreek refused to roll down his window after being asked about it. So I don't think he thought he did anything wrong, and he knew the atmosphere, what was going on, but that's what happened. And so he's wants them to be fired, and they're having issues, and we're learning more things about the cops that did it, that they're more racially motivated, and that if they weren't Tyreek Hill and Calais Campbell, those kids probably would have gotten beaten up or killed or thrown in jail for that matter. So it's an interesting little thing, just a lot of weird shit going on. Oh, yeah, I got to remember, since we're on the weird shit stuff right now, Portland State College out there in Oregon, had to cancel their football game against North Dakota due to whooping cough. Now, these fucking anti-vaxxers who are fucking lunatics about vaccinations are single-handedly bringing back these diseases which we stopped. And the people who are refusing the vaccinations for these things are the ones that are transferring it to people. And when was the last time we had a whooping cough vaccine? I don't know. I mean, they have the recipe, they can make it up, but it's just like, the fuck is whooping cough, Never been around since I've been, because we were vaccinated against it. Now all of a sudden these shitty anti-vax assholes who don't quite understand how things work are causing trouble for all kinds of people. Just all kinds of shit going on. A hit and run driver drove his car onto Folsom Field at University of Colorado Boulder today. So nobody was on the field. Not today. It was on Thursday, actually. So there's nobody on the field. But Jesus Christ, people. A Nora trailer is about a stripper that gets married to a drug dealer, and a Russian drug dealer, and then things go south. So it looks kind of interesting, actually. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the new Game of Thrones spinoff, has finished production this week. Daryl Dixon Season 2 is set to debut on September 29th. It was Ponita Community Day today. It was not very exciting. I had run my wife's account. She got 5 shinies. I got 5 shinies. I had both ponitas, and there weren't a lot of people out, and we already had the shinies, and it was just not just seemed sort of blah, just kind of a blah one, but that's okay. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, is set to start filming in January, and they've already started casting. Matthias Schoenentz is set to sign on as the villain of the piece, and the actress who is playing Supergirl has already got her hairstyle to where it needs to be. So that set its production date for January. John Bon Jovi helped talk a woman off of a ledge on a bridge from committing suicide. So good on him for doing that. Your Monster trailer. We get a little, I've been talking about Your Monster a little bit. We finally got a good trailer for it. A woman who gets dumped by her boyfriend, can't handle it, discovers a monster living in her closet, but ends up, keeping him on as sort of like a roommate, and sparks begin to fly between the two of them. It looks interesting and looks kind of cute in a fun sort of way. I thought it was going to be a lot more creepy than it was. It wasn't. It seems a lot more humorous. So that's good. Action comedy Brothers casts Peter Dinklage and Josh Brolin as twins. So basically seems like they're remaking Twins, but calling it Brothers. Beetlejuice is set for a $50 million second weekend. It hit $114 million this past week and became the second highest grossing movie in September history after It Part 2, I believe, from a few years ago. Hot Cocoa Life Cereal and Frosted Marshmallow Hot Cocoa Pop-Tarts are your new, looks like hot cocoa is going to be the new flavor this year. There's a new coffee creamer, hot cocoa, and marshmallow flavor, which is actually pretty good. We've got the Hot Cocoa Life Cereal and the Hot Cocoa Pop-Tarts, which actually sound really, really good. So that seems to be, that's going to be the flavor du jour this year for winter. The Saturday Night second trailer came out this week. We got a better view at the cast members. Dan Aykroyd, been seeing how they were going to play him. Whoever's playing Dan Aykroyd, might be Dylan O'Brien actually, is playing him really, really well. It's a really good version of Danny Aykroyd, so that's pretty cool. I'll do the two weird stories and then stuff like that. Lego comes out of a 32-year-old's nose after staying up in there for 26 years. So it has finally come out after 26 years up some dude's nose. He finally has it out. So that's crazy. 32-year-old guy. And a woman who was in a relationship with a plane for 9 years has broken up with it. We've talked about these weird people who claim to be in relationships with pirate ghosts and chandeliers and stuff like that. It's not our place to judge, but damn, it's weird as shit. The luscious, gorgeous, hottest chick out there, Sydney Sweeney, turned 27 years old this week. And funnily enough, one of my favorite movies of all time, an underrated gem, David Fincher's The Game, is also 27 years old. So basically, Sydney Sweeney was born the day The Game debuted in movie theaters. And that's kind of really blown my mind because I saw it the day it debuted in movie theaters 27 years ago on the day Sydney Sweeney was born. It's kind of a weird sort of connection there. She's just so hot right now and one of my celebrity crushes right now. And I have a whole list of them, have a whole bunch of them. And most of you know who they are. So that was good. So we had that, and The Game came out 27 years ago this week also. It's kind of cool. Other anniversaries before we get to the big death week this week. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? The original Scooby-Doo cartoon debuted 55 years ago this week. Stir of Echoes, the Kevin Bacon Sixth Sense sort of movie called Stir of Echoes, came out 25 years ago this week. The Visit, M. Night Shyamalan's return to greatness after a few major flops. He came back with a smaller found footage horror film, which did really, really well and sort of gave him a second life. That's 9 years old this week. We got to talk about it. You got to talk about it here at 19 minutes in. This week we lost the great and powerful James Earl Jones, voice of Darth Vader for many movies and TV shows. Voice of Mufasa in both the animated version of The Lion King and the live action version of it. He was in Field of Dreams as Terrence Mann, a reclusive author who gets kidnapped by Kevin Costner and taken out to a farm in Iowa where dead baseball players play baseball. I forget the character's name, but he played a recurring role in The Hunt for October, Patriot Games, and The Clear and Present Danger. He was in Conan the Barbarian. Was played, I guess, may have been the bad guy there. Was in the movie Soul Man, which is a kind of racist movie, but at the same time is making a statement about race as well. He was in Summersby, playing a Civil War era judge that somehow was able to become a judge after being a freed slave. Always found those interesting. He played himself on The Big Bang Theory in a classic episode where he ding-dong ditched on Carrie Fisher, which was actually the first time the two of them had met. So that was kind of interesting. Let me just get, it was a sad time because everyone knows James Earl Jones. He's the voice of CNN. This is CNN. He was born in 1931. He is one of the few performers to achieve the EGOT, so he did get EGOT, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. He was inducted into the American Theater Hall of Fame in 1985. Was honored with the National Medal of Arts in 1992, the Kansas City Honors in 2002, Screen Actors Guild Life Achievement Award 2009, and Academy Honorary Award in 2011. He had a stutter when he grew up and wrote poetry. And a professor saw his poetry and heard his stutter and told him the best way to beat it is to read your poetry and over and over and over again and work on your talk. And that's how he got out of it. He did a lot of stuff on stage, on Broadway and stuff like that. So let's just run through his few films. He was in Dr. Strangelove. He was in The Great White Hope. He was in the Bingo Long Traveling All-Stars and Motor Kings with Billy D. Williams. He was in The Greatest, where he played Malcolm X. He was in Exorcist II, The Heretic. He was in Alan Quatermain and The Lost City of Gold. He was in Gardens of Stone. He was a voice in Pinocchio and The Emperor of the Night. He was in Metuan. He was in Coming to America. I forgot about King Joffrey Joffre. He was in King Joffrey Joffre. He was in Three Fugitives. True Identity. Sneakers. The Sandlot. Forget about Mr. Myrtle. The Sandlot. He was in that too. He was in Meteor Man. He played himself in Naked Gun 33 1/3. He was in Clean Slate. He was in Jefferson in Paris playing Madison Hemmings. He was the narrator in the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd movie. Did not know that. He was in Primary Colors, but he's a CNN voiceover. That's why about that. He introduced the Carnival of Animals segment in Fantasia 2000. He was a voice in Robots. He was in Click, narrator of Michael's Past. He was in Scary Movie 4 as a narrator. He was in Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. He was in Jack and the Beanstalk playing the Giant. I guess that's Bryan Singer's version of it. He was in Driving Miss Daisy, or the theatrical release of the Australian stage production. Never mind. That's right. Voice role in Rogue One. That's right. Yep. And his last film role was Coming to America 2 as King Joffrey Joffre, a television series. He did a couple episodes of Homicide. He was in Roots. He played Alex Haley in Roots. He was Balthazar in Jesus of Nazareth. I didn't know that. He was in Sesame Street, obviously. Fairy Tale Theater, who's Genie of the Lamp in Aladdin. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. He was in 2 episodes of LA Story. He had hosted Saturday Night Live. Oh, no, that was Saturday Night with Connie Chung. Never mind. He never hosted Saturday Night Live. That's true. The Simpsons. That's right. He was a voice in a bunch of stuff. Most memorably, as in the first ever Halloween episode, he was a voice in all three of the stories. Let's see what else. Law and Order episode, Picket Fences episode. He was in Lois and Clark, The Adventure of Superman. Third Rock from the Sun. He was narrator for 19 episodes. Mad About You, he played himself. Touched by an Angel, he was in. Frasier, he was in. Stargate, he was in. 3 episodes of Homicide, he was in. Played Santa Claus, the voice of Santa Claus in Recess. Was in Will and Grace. Everwood, According to Jim. 2.5 Men, House, Big Bang Theory, Star Wars Rebels. He voiced the characters. Obi-Wan Kenobi, he voiced Darth Vader again too. So yeah, that's right. He was Barney Hill in the UFO incident movie. I remember that also. He was in the Star Wars Holiday Special as the voice of Darth Vader. Yeah, so he was narrator for a lot of stuff, and then he did a ton of theater. I played Othello, did a lot of Shakespeare, was in The Great White Hope, did a lot of Shakespeare, Jesus. Was in Of Mice and Men. He did On Golden Pond, nice. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Driving Miss Daisy, Much Ado About Nothing. So he's a god, and he's gone. And the interesting thing about that is, last week I talked about my friend. Oh God, my Midas is not working yet. Oh God, passed away. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot her name. She was a friend of mine. I can't. Donna, that's right. God, my brain is so stupid. Donna Williams was one of the biggest Star Wars fans out there, and she died a week before James Earl Jones did, so it's kind of cool that she was able to greet him up there as a fan. It is now officially the 15th of September, 12:05 a.m. I am now officially in my official 11th year anniversary episode. As I said, I started my show 11 years ago on September 15th, 2013. At 1 p.m. So here we are. So pretty cool. But it fell on a Sunday this year also. That same day, James Earl Jones died. John Cassaday, a great comic book artist who best known for Planetary and Astonishing X-Men, as well as his run on Captain America. Really good cover artist also. He passed away this week as well. And another comic book artist died the next day after him, Carl Maline, who drew Frey and the Buffy series and some stuff from Marvel, stuff like that. So the comics world lost a bunch of people this week. Michaela DePriest, a pioneering ballerina, died at the age of 29 this week. That's all the deaths for this week. Or this part, rather. Yes, this page. Next page. There's a Seven Dwarfs horror movies in the work, which is not unsurprising, but it's stupid that they keep making these dumbass horror movies based on children's stuff for no reason whatsoever. A new Bleach live-action movie based on the anime/manga is set to get started working on here soon. Monty Python members Michael Palin and Terry Gilliam are raising money to fund a statue of the late Terry Jones to be placed in his hometown. Inside Out 2, the biggest movie of the year, yes, even bigger than Deadpool, is set to debut on Disney Plus on September 25th, 10 days from today. The Dexter prequel teaser trailer debuted this week. We get our first look at Sarah Michelle Gellar in the role, and she has a really cool scene where she looks like a badass hot chick putting on rubber gloves because she's a ME sort of person. CSI type. She looks badass doing that, though. Goonies sequel is rumored to be in the works with everybody coming back. Pretty much all of them, with the exception maybe one of them, are kind of biggest stars now. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up planning on doing for that. It'll probably be a legacy sequel in some form or another. World's first commercial spacewalk happened this week. So just a normal dude just did a quick little spacewalk in and out as a test, really. Ewan McGregor got a star on the Hollywood Boulevard Walk of Fame. And what's his face? The guy who played Anakin showed up to praise him for that. So kind of good. Lonely Planet trailer debuts on Netflix on October 11th. Laura Dern, Liam Hemsworth, and a May-December sort of romance thing going on. Hayden Christensen, that's who it was. Open casting has now begun for the leads in the brand new Harry Potter TV show that Max is doing. So they are presently right now looking for people to play Harry, Ron, and Hermione, as well as probably the other bigger roles of Ginny and the Weasley brothers and McGonagall and all of them. So they're starting the casting, starting big casting now. So we'll be hearing a lot more of that. Demishan Bashir is set to join the cast of Black Phone 2. Shannon Sharp, former Raven, posted a sex video on his website and is getting in trouble with whatever network he works on as an analyst. Hurricane Francine hit New Orleans as a Category 2, so not too bad, but enough to cause some damage. It's not really going to be tropical depression since it didn't form out down in Africa, but there is something forming off the coast of Virginia, which is set to cause major issues for us in this area within the next couple of days. Let's see if they're about Tuesday. That's what Justin Burke said. Let's see if it says the same thing on here. Yep, Tuesday, 70% chance, 72 degrees, 60% chance on Wednesday, 75, 55% chance on Thursday, 73, 45% chance on Friday, 72. So we got in for a lot of rain coming up. Let's say we got one more hot day. It was 80 degrees today, or it's going to be 80 degrees today. 76 on Monday, 72 Tuesday, 75 Wednesday, 73 Thursday, 72 Friday, 71 Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and 75 on Tuesday. So yeah, oh yeah, there's the little gooey stuff there. That's the storm that's brewing out there. So we'll see what happens with that. So we are in for some rain very, very soon. McGee might finally get a chance to make his Kiss biopic. Rumors are that it's starting to move in the right direction, and he might be able to pop that out. I forgot the Michael Jackson one coming out here soon too. Samara Weaving, Kira Sedgwick, John Grise, and Kyle Galler in the new film Caroline. Kind of a horror thriller sort of thing. Matilda Lutz. I heard about this and I didn't hear much about it, but now apparently it's still a thing. We get to see the first behind-the-scenes look at Matilda Lutz as the new Red Sonja in a bleeding, comic-accurate costume, which is good. Chainmail, bikini sort of thing going on, so that's pretty cool. Constantine 2 with Keanu Reeves, directed by Francis Lawrence, the script is said to be done, and the producer is too scared to read it. So that's a good sign that that's going to be moving along here too as well. A gas station in Texas sells the only winning Mega Millions ticket this week for $810 million. I'm kind of sick of these. Let's put movies on the shelf and then eventually just release them on screening. So, because we don't think they're going to do very well. Salem's Lot, which was a remake of the Tobe Hooper movie from the early 1980s based on Stephen King novel. Hi, Pepper. Have finally got a remake. So we haven't had really, I think we had the Tobe Hooper one, and there was a TV show back in the 90s, I think, when Stephen King TV shows became huge. And now they made another movie of it. And so it was made like 2 years ago. And it's been sitting on the shelf for a while. So they were trying to get it out in the movie theaters. And then whoever, it's not Warner Brothers though, because they would have just destroyed it. Whoever is distributing it said, let's just sit on it for a while. And then they're going to release it directly to streaming here very soon. But they released the first trailer for it. And I'm like, you should have tried at least to get it into movie theaters, because it actually is a decent looking movie. And it's a horror film. And speaking of horror, here's a horror right here. It's a decent looking horror film. You've got October coming up, guaranteed to be, it might not be a huge hit because I don't know how much it costs to make, but there really isn't any big actors in it. So it would just be the special effects. I think you would, if you just dump that, and like maybe not October 11th, because lots of stuff's come out that, but like October 4th or Joker's come out then. Okay. October 18th, maybe. I don't think anything big is coming out then. You drop it there. You got 2 weeks of Halloween stuff watching that. So it might not have been a humongous hit, but I think it bet you would have made your money back. Just seems like a stupid idea because the trailer looks really good. So we'll see. David, well, we're not going to see. It's going directly to the streaming later this month or early next month. Steve Soderbergh's new movie is a ghost story written by David Cope called Presence. It says they got a trailer, but I have not seen it, even though I did see the story, but they did not have the trailer attached to it. Wicked Part 2 officially hits November 21st, 2025, which is moving up from, again, they're doing it before Thanksgiving. It originally was going to come out on Thanksgiving, but I guess they've got big stuff coming out on Thanksgiving. So they decided to move it up a week, much like they do with the first one, which is going up against Gladiator 2 now, but okay. A 4.7 earthquake hit Los Angeles. It's like the third or fourth middle of the road earthquake to hit that general area in the last 2 to 3 months. So I'm just wondering if something is brewing, something not very good might be popping up here. I remember in '89 when the San Francisco one hit, it was like October, November, because I was at school doing a play. So I was doing rehearsals when it happened. It was '89, I think. It was '89, dumbass. So I was doing a play. Just don't remember which one it was. I don't think it was Comedy of Errors. Pepper. John Grisham is actually getting involved in a real-life court case that seems like it could come out of one of his own books. Basically, in Texas, a guy was wrongfully accused of a crime that gave him the death, and then he was found guilty and was given the death penalty, and his death is coming up very soon here. But John Grisham has, with help from other people, discovered that this guy is innocent. So they're trying everything in their power to try to get him out so that he does not end up getting killed for a crime he did not commit. So it's actual real life. John Grisham is living one of his own novels, The Chamber. It sounds a lot like The Chamber, but that's besides the point. Body language expert says Travis Kelce is not as infatuated with Taylor Swift as he was during the summer. He's just taking a look at, they went after his first game against the Ravens and he had a 10-day window of rest. He met up with Taylor in New York and they went to the US Open. And there's video of the two of them dancing and kissing and all that stuff. But they were showing some scenes where when Taylor wasn't looking, it looked like Travis was miserable being there. And a expert body language thing says they obviously love each other, but there's something else going on with Travis that might be a huge red flag. And I just have to go, different than the summertime. Summertime, he's run all over, being on stage, having a blast, all that stuff, because he's not working. He was on vacation. During the time of the Eras tours, he was on vacation. Most he was doing was maybe working out. That was it. He wasn't doing anything football related. So, of course, he's going to be all excited and happy and jumping around. He's in a beautiful other foreign locations, and he's having a blast and drinking, and his girlfriend is beautiful and singing to an adoring crowd, and he's got famous people all over with him, stuff like that. He's having a blast. And then he starts working. Football is a grueling job. It takes a lot out of you. And he just played a football game and is doing practices like that. So you got to give him a little breather. You know, he's went out of his way, and he wanted to be with his girl. So he might not have looked the happiest, but that's because he's probably tired from working. Football, as I said, it'll take a lot out of you. And he's probably in work mode now. So don't get into the hype. They're all trying to piggyback on the fake story that came out with a mysterious paper that was found on some college kid's desk that talked about Travis Kelce leaving Taylor Swift and how to do it properly, which has been debunked as being probably a class project for some, because why would some unknown hack college student have such a big important thing? When you do a little investigation into the guy's life, he's got no connection at all to anybody in Travis Kelce or Taylor Swift's orbit. So it's just people just being dicks again, stuff like that. It's up there with what was that thing that really pissed me off? Shit. Something that really pissed me off. They said, oh, that's what it was. There was a shot during one of her concerts where it looked like Taylor did this, like she took off a ring or something to hide it. And people are speculating that it was an engagement ring that Travis gave her, and she didn't want to let anybody know they were engaged yet, so she nonchalantly did that. And then someone comes out of his way in the comments on this story and said, that's just Taylor trying to get more attention. If she wanted more attention, she would be flaunting that shit. Look, guys, I got engaged to Travis. It would be the biggest fucking story in history. I'm being a little obsequious, but it would be a huge story if she was really intending to get the spotlight back on her and all this stuff. She'd say, hey, fucks, I'm engaged. That would be a huge media PR thing going on. So this moron thinks because she was hiding the potential of a engagement ring that she was trying to draw the spotlight back onto her. For hiding a ring? No, there was no leverage to it because it's not a true story. If she wanted to leverage the popularity, as you so succinctly put it in the comments, as I said, she'd be flaunting that shit. Fucking morons in this country. God, it's really how stupid every fucking people is. Flappy Bird is making a comeback after 10 years. Remember, Flappy Bird used to be a huge deal 10 years ago. It's now coming back. Song Kang-ho is set to head up the Inside Men series based on the movie. Chris Messina and Damian Lewis, who was the first time he's mentioned, will be mentioned again here in a little bit, have joined the cast of World War II film Pressure. And Tyler Perry's new TV show on Netflix appears to be an all-black cast called Beauty in Black. So awesome for that. I hope it does well for them. Death this week, Chad McQueen, son of Steve McQueen, and was in The Karate Kid, passed away this week. Almost Famous came out 24 years ago this week. Supernatural debuted 19 years ago this week. The Full Monty debuted 26 years ago this week. And Once Upon a Time in Mexico debuted 21 years ago this week. Two more pictures. A complete unknown trailer with Timothée Chalamet as Bob Dylan just dropped, like literally before I started this show, so I didn't watch it, but I wanted to bring it up there. Godzilla Advent Calendar. I saw this. My son's an avid Godzilla fan, and now you can get an Advent Calendar, which every day you open up a little model figure of Godzilla or one of his villains. I shouldn't say villains, his opponents, other monsters, whatever. The new Alan Ritchson film, War Machine, cast Dennis Quaid, Jai Courtney, Stephen James, and Esai Morales. The final Venom 3 trailer debuted this week as well. It's the Venom series. I've never liked the character of Venom. I never was a big Tom Hardy fan, but these Venom movies, I haven't watched them yet, but they seem kind of interesting, and this one looks like it's a lot of fun, and it is the final chapter of Venom, so we'll see what happens with that. Michael B. Jordan is set to star in and direct a remake of the Thomas Crown Affair. The most recent remake of that was Rene Russo and Pierce Brosnan's version of it. I think John McTiernan was the director of that one. I already talked about that. Jared Leto is in talks to play Skeletor in the live-action Masters of the Universe movie. Okay, good for him. John Barenthal and Pablo Schreiber have set to join Tessa Thompson in her Netflix action murder mystery, His and Hers. The Black Cat skin popped up in Fortnite on Friday, and it looks a hell of a lot like Sydney Sweeney because there's rumors that she's going to be playing the Black Cat. It's a gorgeous skin. It's sexy as fuck. And there's already been a number of videos detailing it as being one of the best skins that Fortnite has released in a long time. I certainly did buy it. Disney is being sued for using Peter Cushing's likeness in Rogue One. Michael Madsen, Stephen Ogg, and Josh Hamilton are set to star in a movie theater film called Concessions, which is actually kind of a neat idea. They've never really done anything like that. So that's a neat idea for a movie. And here's another one that's a whack idea, but it's got a nice pedigree to it. And it'd be interesting to see how they're going to do it. And this is not an Onion story. This is a real story. Judd Apatow, who we haven't seen for a long time, 40-year-old virgin, so on and so forth like that, is set to direct. And Steven Spielberg, yes, that's Steven Spielberg, is set to produce, a film about Coke versus Pepsi, Soda Wars. I think it's probably based on the book. I think that because I remember there's a book called Soda Wars. I think it's based on that. But a Coke versus Pepsi movie is coming from Judd Apatow and Steven Spielberg. That's insane. Stop it. Don't bite me. Stop it. Isabel Furman and Don Johnson are set to star in Unit 234, a lockup trailer. 234, Unit 234, the lockup. It's a trailer for that. It's the name of the movie. Stop. What are you doing? The Radleys trailer, Damian Lewis again, and Kelly MacDonald's vampire family comedy film gets a trailer, which again I didn't see. 2 Delta airplanes collided on the tarmac at the Atlanta airport, which is weird. How can you collide on the tarmac? It doesn't make any sense to me. Charlize Theron, another hottie, is set to produce The Quiet Tenant, a serial killer TV show created by the CSI creator, the TV show CSI. A cat lives in a liquor store and walks amongst the bottles of liquor around there. Do you want to live in a liquor store, Pepper? Batman Day is set for next Saturday, September 21st. I think your local comic book store should be giving away a free comic or probably having some sort of Batman deals. Might have cosplayers, might have people who've worked on Batman projects, signing books and stuff. So anything like that. John Woo, best known for directing action films, You're Gonna Fall, is set to direct his first ever, what he calls a half musical movie. So there'll be some musical aspects to it, but it is not a full-on musical where everybody doesn't sing everything. It's going to be half people singing everything. Josh Brolin has turned down the role of the Green Lantern in the Green Lantern TV show. So now we're going on to the next batch of people who they're going to keep asking. Ian McKellen says that The Hunt for Gollum could very well be 2 movies. Jack Houston is set to join the Spider-Man Noir TV show on Prime. Happy Gilmore 2 starts filming. Julie Benz and Chris McDonald set to return, and Bad Bunny has joined the cast. And Travis Kelce has a cameo role in it. Destin Daniel Critton, the director of Shang-Chi, is set to direct Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland, which I could not think of a better person to do that. Now he just needs to cast Sydney Sweeney as Black Cat and do a street-level movie, and that would be great. But Fox is pushing for doing a multiverse thing, which would be a disaster. It also, Destin Daniel Critton was set to do the live-action Naruto film, but now him taking over as Spider-Man 4 is probably going to put that on the bench now for a while. Okay, that's all for stuff. It's Denis Villanueva time. Denis Villanueva. Denis Villanueva. Denis Villanueva. Denis Villanueva. Pop, 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 pop. Denis Villanueva is set to direct Nuclear War, a scenario, a film based on the true nonfiction story about a nuclear war scenario, what would happen during a nuclear war. So basically, he's going to treat it as a real story where a nuclear war happens and what happens after. So that actually sounds pretty decent idea. And the person who wrote the book is using lots of, science and military stuff and political stuff and knows what they're talking about. Hey, Pep. You're on TV. Look, there you are. There you are. Denis Villanueva has also said he started writing Dune 3, which is an adaptation of Messiah. So I think I had heard him say that he wanted to get away from Dune because his last 2 movies were Dune and Dune 2. And he wanted to get away from that and do something else where he did a Dune 3. So I don't know if this nuclear scenario movie is going to be what he's going to direct first. And then, because he is writing Dune 3 script right now. So, or is he writing the script now so he can work on that and then do the nuclear war one after? So we'll see what happens. So that's it for Denis Villanueva. David Grohl, who's considered to be one of the nicest guys and one of the best guys in the rock music and whatever, just revealed that he's like any other son of a bitch. He cheated on his wife and got a side piece pregnant. He has said that he has had a child outside of wedlock, a little girl. So that's just great. Apple juice recall hits Aldi, Walmart, Walgreens, and BJ's due to increased amounts of strychnine, because that's basically what it is. Apple juice does have some amount of strychnine in it due to the way the apples are created, but it's never enough to hurt anybody. But this one had higher levels than normal, which could hurt somebody and kill somebody. So they are recalling it. Hormel is set to make cinnamon toast crunch flavored bacon, and that just does not sound appetizing to me one iota. This is a weird story. I kind of feel like I talked about last week, but I'm not sure. A great white shark has discovered to have eaten a pregnant nurse shark, I believe, that was under surveillance. I don't know if it's a nurse shark, but so it just goes to show you that there are signs that sharks are cannibals. And this is the proof that a pregnant shark was eaten by a great white shark, or so they say. Could it be a Meg? Sure, why not? Let's go down that rabbit hole. But the story right now appears to be a great white shark has eaten this pregnant shark. Now, the reason why, as I said, they know this is because she was under surveillance. So they had her tagged, and then the tag started acting all weird and then stopped or something, whatever, and they discovered what had happened. Bob Mann, high-profile Rhode Island defense attorney, died at the age of 76 this week. Peter Renaday, the voice of Splinter in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon, died at the age of 89 this week. And Frankie Beverly, an iconic soul and R&B artist, died at the age of 77 this week. Anniversaries, Rounders with Matt Damon, debuted 26 years ago this week. And the X-Files TV show debuted 31 years ago this week. That's right, because I watched it when I was in college. We had watch parties in my dorm room and out in the lobby. And I got a bunch of my friends, including Eric A. now, into it. So pretty cool. Rhea Garaslik, excuse me, sorry, Rhea, screwed up your name, said this reminded her of what a Yankee Candle Fall candle smells like. It's not bad. All right, down to our last one. Morena Baccarin, fresh off a Deadpool trilogy, wants to play Catwoman in James Gunn's DCU. And honestly, I think she'd be pretty damn good at it. Florence Man was bit by his highly venomous pet snake. He survived, but not doing too good. Kendrick Lamar is set to do the Super Bowl halftime show this year. Kathy Bates has declared that once Matlock has run it, her revamp of Matlock has run its course, she'll be retiring from acting. So much like what Steve Martin said that after he does Only Murders in the Building, once that's all done and wrapped up, they do their final season, stuff like that, no more episodes, he's going to retire from acting. Kathy Bates is saying the same thing. She's going to stay on Matlock for as long as they have it, or as long as she can do it, but as long as she has it. But as soon as if it gets canceled after year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 10, whatever, she says, I'm done. I ain't going to act anymore. So I give her credit for that. Jamie Lee Curtis has won an Emmy to go with her Oscar. So she's got the EO of EGOT. So she still has to get the Grammy and the Tony. So we'll see if that happens. And the cat's going crazy. Lego Harry Potter video game is getting a remaster. Godzilla Minus One is set to come to Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K on November 19th. The Dark Crystal and Labyrinth are set to also get 4K collector's editions. No date specified for them yet. Billy Zane is set to join the movie The Evilry. Harvey Weinstein was taken out of jail and had emergency heart surgery. The first look at The Chronology of Water, which is a really good name for a movie, with Imogen Potts and directed by Kristen Stewart, popped up this week. Phantom of the Opera remake is set to come to Disney Plus from the Hocus Pocus director. Museum Meow, this is a cool idea. Museum Meow Night allows regular cats like Pepper to go visit an Egyptian exhibit at a museum in Shanghai, which has lots of kitties, statues, and stuff like that. I think that's a really cool idea. The franchise teaser for HBO debuted this week. Looks like a TV show set about the making of a franchise movie or TV show or whatever. Good Omens Season 3 has been put on hold after Neil Gaiman has been accused of sexual assault by 5 women now. So we'll see what happens. I already talked about that. Colonel Sanders is set to be playable in the video game Funko Fury. Folly, I think is what it was. Neegly, the spinoff of Reacher, is set up now at Prime. Dynamax has hit Pokemon Go. It's a new thing where they have these new things on the map. You go to them, you get the Dynamax particles, and then you can fight Dynamax Pokemon, which means that they grow 20 times their size and change their move set. So we have that now in game. The PlayStation 5 Pro is set to be coming this holiday season. Probably not going to be as insane as the original PlayStation 5 arrival, but because a lot of people are not liking the PlayStation 5 Plus, but Pro, excuse me, but we'll see what happens with that. Hold Your Breath trailer. Sarah Paulson stars in this horror film about a killer dust cloud. The Apprentice trailer with Sebastian Stan and can't the other person's name, Jeremy Strong, that's what it is a adaptation is a biopic of the convicted felon, and it does not show the convicted felon in a good light, and the convicted felon was trying to get it blocked so it wouldn't come out before the election, but it's set to come out October 11th, so the first trailer for that came out. A bear explores multiple cars in a viral video where he opens the car door, walks through it like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and then gets out and goes to the next one to try to find the right one for him. Before we get to the last story, Walt Emer, the president and CEO of Waffle House, died at the age of 58 this week. Alan Aldridge, NFL player, died at the age of 52 this week. And Emi Shinohan, voice of Sailor Jupiter and Sailor Moon, passed away at the age of 61. Anniversaries: Hellraiser debuted 37 years ago this week. True Romance debuted 31 years ago this week. Vampire Diaries debuted 15 years ago this week. Star Trek 1966, the 1966 series, debuted on September 8th, which is Star Trek Day, which I forgot to mention last week. Queen Elizabeth passed away two years ago this week, Josh. And Psycho debuted 64 years ago this week. REM's New Adventures in Hi-Fi album debuted in 1996 this week, so 96, 2006, 2016, 28 years ago. New Adventures in Hi-Fi is actually a very underrated album. The 90s was a great time to be an REM fan. They released 4 albums. Out of Time was the biggest album one of the biggest albums of the 90s and made REM a huge phenomenon. And then they basically released Automatic for the People literally a year or so after Out of Time, which is, in my opinion, probably the best REM album of all time. And then they took a little breather, and then they decided they're going to release Monster, and it was a completely different than the previous ones, and they wanted to get back to their rock roots, and Monster is actually a kind of a shitty album. It's got 3 or 4 good songs, but the majority of it is shitty, in my opinion. This spun off the Monster Tour, which was a year-long tour, which became the absolute most torturous, worst tour ever for the band, and almost pushed them to the brink, and actually pushed one of their members to quit after it. But while they were on tour for this whole year, they recorded an album called New Adventures in Hi-Fi, which debuted this week, using recordings from sound checks. And every city they went into, they stopped at a recording studio and recorded more tracks and laid them down. New Adventures in Hi-Fi is actually a really good album. It's a whole shit ton better than Monster is. And it's the last real REM album where all 4 members were there. After that, I think Bill Berry decided he was going to leave the the band. And after New Adventures in Hi-Fi came out, he went his separate way, and they became a trio, which lasted till about, 2008, 2009, something like that. And then they disbanded for good. So New Adventures in Hi-Fi, fantastic album, debuted 28 years ago this week. Final story this week for this 11th anniversary episode of Dylan Knows. Real quick, thank you again for allowing me to do this for 11 years. And I'm going to keep on doing it. Don't worry. We're going to be hitting in 30 weeks. We'll be hitting my 600th episode. Not going to really doing anything special like I did for the 500th. But that's 30 weeks. So that puts us at, let's see, how many weeks are left in this year? Let's just say 2. There's like 14, 15 weeks left in this year. So halfway into next year. So 1, 2, 3, sometime in April. Looks like it's going to be my 600th episode of Dylan Knows. If I continue to do it weekly with the holidays coming up, we'll see how that all works out. But are you okay? Can you hear that? That's my cat. But yes, thank you for putting up with me for 11 years. Thank you, Eternally Solar, for suggesting me getting my own show, and everybody who helped me out. Larissa was her name, was the woman who did the Supernatural show, Jerry Fletcher, MJ Khan, Bronwyn, and then all of the other people I've had come on the show over the last 11 years. Thank you all for bearing with me and coming on and doing that stuff. And thank you all, my 103 subscribers and my list of between 6 and 20 people who watch my show regularly. Thank you again. And here's to another 11 years. I know kind of blah. Last year was my 10 years, so a little bit bigger, but this year 11, it's 11. So September 15th, 2025 will be year 12. So we'll see what happens. Final story for this week. Perry Farrell and Dave Navarro of Jane's Addiction came to blows during a concert that they had to be separated. I think they ended up having to cancel the rest of the concert. I don't know what could have happened, which could have set off the band members to fight each other during your concert. Kind of a wild sort of story. So that's it. Next week, 572 will be the weekend of September 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Anything interesting coming out? Yes, there's 2 big things coming out next weekend. 1, the Baltimore Comic-Con downtown the convention center is set to hit Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Make your way down there and enjoy the Comic-Con festivities at the Baltimore Convention Center. They tend during the 3 days, they average, not average, but the total amount of people that arrives at the Baltimore Comic-Con over those 3 days has hit about 100,000 people every year. So recommend you go down there early enough to get tickets and see your favorite artists and writers. Baltimore Comic-Con is considered by many in the comic industry to be in their top 5 best conventions. If you ask anybody in the comic industry what their top 5 is, Baltimore Comic-Con is always in there somewhere because it is a more comic book oriented one. There are a ton of writers and artists down there. I mean, a ton. I mean, not not unknowns. These are people who are presently working on books and are huge stars and are very popular. Jim Lee is going to be there this weekend. So that's insanity. They also have some actors and actresses there. As I mentioned the last couple episodes, Sam Jones from Flash Gordon is going to be there. John Wesley Shipp from the original Flash TV show, and then joined the Flash one on the WB or the CW, and played Barry's father, and then went on to play other roles in the Flash TV show. Will be there too. Jeanette Goldstein and her partner from Aliens, I forget the actor's name, will be there as well as an actor from the most recent Alien, Romulus, will be there as well. Baltimore Convention Center is huge, so you're going to have a lot of room to wander, but it's, as I said, it gets packed really quickly. There is a family section for young kids also, to young kid comics and entertainment stuff, and make your own comics and all kinds of arts and crafts and stuff like that. Cosplaying is huge there. So it's a good event, and absolutely want everybody to go there. My comic shop is going to start prepping for it, probably starting tomorrow, or they might even start today. Their store is going to look decimated on Wednesday because they're going to have most of the stuff down there already, but they do have to stay open on Wednesday for New Comic Book Day, but then they shut down their store. They close their store from Thursday through Sunday of next weekend. So, because they're going to be down at the convention. So if you want to buy your comics, you can't go to the store go down the con. They have these since he runs the convention. He's the guy that created it, Marcus. He puts Cards Comes Collectibles in the center of the floor because he can. He's the guy that created it, so why not? One of the perks of the job. So got that coming up. I'm probably not going to go, but I would recommend everybody else to go as well. I'll real quick and tell you the story too. So last week on my show, I wrote out my notes on a notepad at work because I was bored out of my freaking mind and I had nothing to do. I did the same for this week's episode and I left them at work. So I had to rewrite them in here. Not going to happen this week because my class order is due next Monday, and I'll be working on it on Thursday and Friday. So. But Dylan, did you say there were 2 other big things happening this weekend? Yes, there was. Sunday, the 22nd of September, the first day of autumn, the best season ever created. First day of autumn is Sunday, 1 week from today. So we're on our last week of summer. Thank you, Jesus. So that's good. And then Agatha, the spinoff of WandaVision, is set to debut on Wednesday, the 18th this week. So I might have, I'm going to try to, I don't know if my wife and daughter want to watch it with me. I'm going to probably watch it on Thursday. The first 2 episodes debut this week. And I'll probably talk about them this week while they're at scout camp, or it's not scout camp, at scouts. Anything else happened this week? I said my class will be working on that. Nope, nothing else. 16th through the 22nd. So as far as I know, nothing else is due out, but Baltimore Comic-Con, first day of autumn. Agatha due out. Any movies coming out this week? Oh yeah, the Transformers Gen 1 movie is coming out. I'm not going to watch it, but it seems to be getting some good reviews, so that'll be out this week as well. Other than that, I think that's all I got for today. 1 hour, 11 minutes. So I'm going to stick with the 11 minutes. So my 11th anniversary show ran 1 hour and 11 minutes. So thank you guys for watching and for making me able to do this. And I better turn this off before it goes to 112.